Quit playing with your dinghy.
Quit playing.
There was a lot of dinghies in this movie. Were those dinghies? No, those are just subs.
No dinghies in this movie because the movie you're making me watch today is James Cameron's The Abyss, his directorial debut.
That's not correct.
No? All right.
It's like fourth movie.
50-50.
It's like his third movie,
it's his
but
fourth.
technically his fourth because he made some shitty movie that never really got released.
Yeah,
after
Piranha, like
Terminator,
Piranha
right?
2 or something. Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminator isn't technically his debut, but it like.
I'm just
pretty
saying
much
this
was.
is after Terminator.
Yeah, after Terminator and after Aliens.
Jaws
Yeah,
was his
it's
first
third.
movie, wasn't it?
Jaws was not Cameron.
Oh,
This dude's just
it's also in the water.
Yeah.
It would make sense that it would be. I see the correlation. Like I could see the mistake.
Correlation? Did you mean to do that?
I didn't, but nice pull.
The Abyss. Some bis, dude. This some bis. You got a haiku?
Underwater. I wrote 2 bad haikus.
You got 2 coups? We'll combine them, make one good one.
Neither one was good.
All right.
I mean, I could interchange like them. No, I mean the first one flows. All right,
Give me
first
the one that rhymes the most.
I don't know if either of them. I guess the first 2 sort of. All right, I'll give you. It doesn't matter. I'll give you my first one. Deep sea oil rig, underwater aliens, and cast iron bitches.
Cast iron bitches.
Yeah, how to get that?
She was
in.
terrible.
What do you mean? She was great
I think she was terrible.
as
I
like
think-
a character or an actor.
They
Which one?
they
Okay,
leaned to
so
into her
that-
being a
good
bitch. She
question.
wasn't that
Good
much of a
question.
bitch.
She
Exactly. She pretty much cared for this guy the whole time.
They
Yeah,
were
the
not.
First time you see her,
They
they're
were
like,
not nice to women.
"Queen
in this
bitch of the
movie.
universe
Yeah.
is here."
They were just like, this fucking basically because she's a woman.
Yeah, this was an '80s movie.
So Ed Harris was a womanator.
Oh yeah.
No,
He
James
was a
Cameron
womanator, dude.
probably was.
Probably all the above.
Well,
I think
you do
he
know
was
that-
going through divorce
Yeah,
at the
so-
moment.
Yeah,
Supposedly this movie
With the
was like
producer
hell
of the
for
film.
everybody, like hell for the actors, hell for everybody, which
yeah.
makes sense because I think they shot like 40% of this underwater, literally. Like all this shit was
Mhm.
like on a stage, like underwater for a lot of things.
On a stage underwater in like a nuclear
nuclear
submarine
reactor.
reactor.
It was
or
in North
something.
Carolina.
Yeah. You think Davidson worked on this movie?
He was in South Carolina.
No.
Yeah,
but
and
you
he
can
was
mix
also a
those up.
child.
Yeah,
So no.
Wait,
This movie
which
came
one?
out in- this movie
Which
came out in
one's the
'89.
bed? Which one's the good Carolina?
Davidson's from the north,
Okay.
so take
Is that
as
good or
you
bad?
I don't know.
Still the
That
answer.
doesn't
Take it as you
answer my
will.
question. I mean, the North is generally thought of as the better, like the right
I
side of
believe
history,
so.
right?
Yeah. Well, I think there's just more to do there. I like to
There's
tell
more to do.
Davidson he's from South Carolina, just to make him mad.
I think I've done that so many times on accident, and he just thinks I do it on purpose now. He was like, "Yeah, it's a good bit you have." It's like it's not. I'm sorry that I keep
Okay.
forgetting which Carolina. There's 2 of them. It's
I
like,
just do it as a bit.
if there was a North and South California, and people were like, "He's from the North," I wouldn't be. I would be like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's the same. I live in Texas."
Yeah.
All right. Here's my haiku because I know Schwartz doesn't have one.
Hit it.
Bright alien glides. UFOs or NTIs, no one can stay dry.
That's a great one.
That's
That's a
dope.
good
That's
one, dude. You incorporated the movie, you incorporated some funniness, you rhymed. You know what? I do have haiku, but it sucks. So you know what? Yours is too good. You counted for mine. Too.
Yeah, that's the whole. What's the whole thing in this movie?
Whoa.
I have
this
another
podcast.
bad haiku.
All right, yeah, do another bad one.
Jake sucked.
All right.
Give me yours.
Yeah, mine's terrible. Here's another bad one. Then we can get to your bad one. Love from deep below.
Oh.
Don't forget to bring a towel. Alien creatures.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah, you get the don't forget to bring a towel though. You get it because they're wet all the time. You get it.
I get it.
Yeah, cool. You laugh, so I wasn't sure. I just wanted to explain that.
Oh yeah. Sorry, was I supposed to laugh?
I mean, mine sucks.
Go
Give it
on.
to us.
Deep ocean secrets. Alien encounters here. The abyss beckons.
You abyss.
Yeah, you're right. That sucked.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean, it's a
fine.
haiku, so it's all that matters.
What were the
is-
secrets?
Yeah,
Secrets
what
of
were the secrets?
goddamn aliens?
The secrets were the 27 minutes that had to be put back in.
Who was keeping the secret? I don't think that was more of an unknown than a secret.
I mean, yeah, I think people knew about that shit. Like the guys in there trying Michael Biehn, the guy who's in every James Cameron movie from the beginning to this movie, he knew what was going on under there.
You know there was aliens. He was just
Yeah,
a fucking
why he was
crazy
blowing
guy.
it up. That's why he was blowing
Because
it up.
he had the
I think he was
fucking
blowing it up because there is no.
he had
fate
the
but what we
underwater
make for
thing.
ourselves.
He had the pressure inflicting craziness.
The fuck are you talking about?
I think he knew about the aliens and he wanted them dead.
There was the sickness that you got for like experiencing
Oh, yeah,
the high
yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
There was a funny because there was a part where she's like, "Guys, make sure you keep an eye out for signs of high pressure fever," and they're like, "Yeah, HPF, yeah, we got it, we know," and blah blah blah, and they did the acronym, and then they broke it down what it was, and like handshakes, and that's what they called
Yeah.
high pressure fever, but you know what I'm saying. handshakes and
Bean didn't.
delirium
Bean
and blah blah
didn't
blah.
know.
And
So if
Bean
they're
was shaking
shaking
the whole
people's
time.
hands too much, it's
Yeah,
like
if you're shaking,
I
Bean's
just
like, I
think
don't give a
that's
fuck.
friendly.
I'm gonna shake and I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna stop some Russians. And
You
even if
shake it
they're
more than
aliens,
twice, you're
I'm gonna
playing with
kill them.
yourself.
What?
You shake it more than twice, you're playing with yourself.
This movie definitely was the first Armageddon too. Like Armageddon
yeah.
ripped the shit out of this movie.
This is Armageddon is this movie where it probably should have taken place in space, and then no aliens though. That's the only thing.
I mean, but I think
no
that,
aliens,
I think what
and
it is,
he stays on the moon.
I think what it is like people consider the ocean space like because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's so unexplored, and James Cameron's obsessed with it, so he combines the two things that he loves, aliens and fucking the water. So it's kind of, I mean, I don't know, man, this was a pretty
Like
great
he did in
movie. Like
Avatar.
it's a fun one. It's long. Is it long? Yes. Is it? But it never really gets boring. Not one point was I bored. When you said that the other day, I was like, really? You got bored? I did not get bored with this movie, not once.
Who said that?
It was pretty. You did.
I did.
Yeah, it's boring. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Where did you get bored?
I like really watched it today, and the whole time I was like,
yeah, it's
this
great.
movie's sick.
It's great.
The opening
Yeah, it's a
scene,
great film.
the
It's a dope
opening
movie.
shot sets the tone. The fucking submarine, just giant submarine coming at you,
Mhm,
passing by,
Yeah.
all like super realistic and shit.
mhm.
I think what
That's
holds
a
up
good
the
one.
most is just how cool it looks when it was shot before the 90s.
Well,
Yeah, dude, it
again,
looks great for
James
1989.
Cameron
It's great.
taking advantage of Lucasfilm's capabilities, and because he knows what he's doing, also he can kind of make it work the best way.
Yeah, there was only like a few. I think like the crown jewel of the thing, which was like what they spent the most money on was like that fucking T-1000 looking water monster going through.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was kind of lame, but everything
still
else
I
was
mean,
pretty rad.
When
It
I
looked
thought it was
legit. It
cool-
looked like real water
No, it didn't.
tube going through the air. It didn't.
No, it did
yeah,
not.
it looked cool,
It
and I
did
liked that it
not.
became like their
It
faces.
looked like
and
fucking.
shit.
It looked like liquid metal. It looked like
yeah, but
fucking.
dude, imagine it in '89.
Alex
though.
Mack.
In '89, that was water.
Sure,
dude.
in
That
'89,
was
but I'm
water.
talking about what stands up today, and that's probably the only thing. That's one of the only things that don't stand like today.
think
You look at that and it's just like that's kind of weird. That doesn't really jive.
I don't
I
know
still
if I
thought it
agree
looked
with
good.
that.
Because
Yeah, I
it
don't know
didn't
if I
look
agree with
fake.
that.
It looked
I
like
don't
it was
think it
actually
looked
there.
like. I don't think it look. I think if they did it again today, it would look more real, like realistic water going through.
I
Because
mean,
it didn't
just 'cause
translate to
advances,
me.
Things advance.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying
Yeah.
what looks good to me today versus what doesn't, and this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't. That looked to me like more like a T-1000 thing than water. When they said it's water, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's why.
Are you saying the T-1000 looks fake?
The T-1000 looked cooler than this. That was for sure.
Thought they were on par.
But I'm saying,
And by on
I'm saying
par, I'm
everything in
talking
this movie
the
looked
shit.
awesome.
Yeah.
And there was only a couple things that I was like, well, I bet today that would look better. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Relax.
I mean, even
guys.
the aliens. I mean, because we're gonna get that. The aliens looked legit too. Like they looked dope. They looked.
They were cool.
They were cool.
They were
looked-
practical.
cool.
They weren't CG.
For a movie.
That's
They
why.
looked. Oh, they were practical. Okay.
They were practical.
Because it did look real for whatever that means. Whatever
That's
real
the thing
is.
about this time is the limitations
Mhm.
versus what, because it's not even limitations. They don't have CG yet. So this is
No.
all they've ever known. In fact,
Yeah.
they're in the peak, the height of what they can do practically. This is like
Yeah.
the spear's edge of what they can do practically. And now you can dip your toes into CG a little bit. This is like Jurassic Park. It's like what they've done, or what, like everything that they've gotten away with before versus a little bit of cheating here and there and some bad green screen.
And the mix of practical effects and practical things when important. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
Jurassic
that's
Park
what I'm
was so
saying.
good
Like
too, because like
they're at the height of their
close-ups in
practical
Jurassic Park,
effects.
the close-ups in Jurassic Park were practical, and that made it that's what made it. It was like the mix of that and then the T-Rex being able to run was like, what the fuck? I can't really beat that.
Yeah, and that's why
That
these
was dope.
alien looked weird. That's why all the ships looked rad. That's why the underwater scenes, like there's chase scenes with fucking submarines, like that was all real underwater submarine banging into each other, you know.
No, when you think
Miniatures.
like of making films on a high level, and especially in a pre-CGI world, this doesn't really get much higher level than this, considering that like this entire movie took place like underwater or in a boat or in an alien ship. It was pretty insane. Like it was pretty wild.
It was
Yeah.
pretty contained.
100%. But like
But you're
painting
right.
that picture with the I mean, this is a special effects driven movie based on the awe of the situation, the awe of what it is, and they did it in a time to where it wasn't easy to do that and make something as like he even said if he doesn't do what 2001 did for space for the ocean, he doesn't want to do it. And it kind of did that. It showed you something you really never seen before this movie. Like what movie took place under the water that looked so real and like that did it, like there wasn't. This was it. Like he wanted to really take you to his version of space in that way, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think you did.
Yeah.
a great job. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's James Cameron. He was still
so
making a
good.
name for himself. And what's also cool is that like because of the success of Aliens and Terminator, he literally could do whatever the fuck he wanted, and like he chose to do this. Like this is like he was like, I want to make this. Like that's fucking dope.
I mean, he already been to space.
I guess so.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, it's pretty crazy achievement. And I mean, we can get into all the crazy shit that happened.
Yeah,
like the
on set, 'cause
miniatures.
I feel like that's kind of been
alone.
done with a lot of stuff, been covered. But the hell of making this, them people almost dying. Cameron having to direct underwater.
My
only
favorite,
like a one-way communication sort of thing between him and his actors, apparently.
Yeah, my favorite thing I heard is he would walk because they had to decompress every now, depending on how deep they went, obviously, and while he was decompressing, going to the top, he would watch dailies, or maybe he must have been, he could have been in a decompression chamber, but either way, like during his decompression, he would watch dailies. So
that's awesome.
What I also heard,
I was working
adding on to that, he would watch the dailies upside down.
Oh, why?
He would be hanging upside down and decompressing because the suit he was in was so heavy, it was like hurting his shoulders. So he would just kind of float upside down, and they would flip the screen.
They flip the screen
watch it upside down for him.
But don't you like when you're
if you're upside down
I
and the
know,
screen's
I get
upside
it.
down, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Everything's upside down.
I feel like
I read that. I heard that on one podcast I listened to. I don't know how true that is. I don't think I saw that anywhere else, but I thought that was.
I also and I heard a podcast where he fought off a shark while he was watching dailies, and he won. He still has the shark tooth. That's where he came up with the idea for Jaws.
You know, I thought about that in this movie. I was like, how did they not encounter like some big fucking megalodon thing or something at one point where like they were going down there? Like, that would have been so sick. Like if you,
there's aliens,
giant. I know, but it would be cool if like a giant like huge whale swam by, or I don't know, something. I mean, it's dope. I was thinking about that.
In the movie or in real life?
In the movie.
Okay.
They weren't really.
That's what I was gonna say, because they're not in the sea in real life. But
what the fuck are you talking about?
I thought that's what you were saying, because we were talking about the making of, but then you're like, it's crazy how they didn't come across the megalodon.
Add a megalodon in this fucking alien.
Well, dude,
deep sea
did
movie?
he like go? He went further down than anybody ever went before. Like that's the point. Like you saw something you weren't gonna see ever. You know.
Yeah,
cool.
aliens.
It doesn't have to be a megalodon. It could have been a
saying.
giant whale.
There's
It
fucking
could have been a
aliens.
bunch of sharks. It could have been anything.
I don't think
I
whales.
get
Giant
there's
squid.
aliens,
I don't think
bro.
whales are thousands of feet deep, are they?
I don't know.
I think the blue whale primarily lives hella deep. I don't know. I'm no whaleologist.
You're not a whale-tician?
Yeah, whaleotician. I'm no that.
Whalematician.
Not that guy. I'm not that guy. But from what I remember, learning
whaleosopher?
that most of like the large like blue whale lives at great depths.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll take
I
your
don't
word.
think you
Take
know
your word
that.
to it. I'll take your word for it.
I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. I just feel like that's something I know.
Oh,
I
you're
hope
a
right.
vegan.
I hope
so.
you're right. I hope you're
Yeah,
right.
dude, I know my whales. Because the whole story with like the squid and the whale, how it's like a blue whale battling a giant squid, and giant squids I know live in the hella depths because they're.
So you're talking about a
ever seen.
fictional story that you heard? That's what you're basing this
Yeah,
whale
it could be
knowledge off of?
blurring fiction and reality.
The
And-
Cuvier's beaked whale has been known to dive at depths of 2,992 meters. That's
a
almost
long way, dog.
10,000 feet. But that's like one kind of
Yeah,
whale.
dude, it's like 2 miles deep, dog. It's
like
not
one
as
kind
deep
of
as fuck. These guys were like 70 in the movie though, so it's definitely they were even deeper in the movie.
Whatever. Keep going.
Whatever. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
he-
right
he
because they
would've-
live at
He
thousands.
definitely
of
would have
feet
died
deep.
going down there, breathing fucking water or not.
He's breathing water, oxygen water, dude. He could have lived forever.
Yeah,
But
dude,
if a submarine can't go to that depth, then how can his body go to that depth?
They protected him.
With
It's
what?
water, dude.
Water?
That was metal. He's water, and we're 70%
He was in
water.
he was in a fucking O'Neill wetsuit.
yeah,
Bro,
covered in
you're
water.
on one of those things. They're fucking epic.
It was like water. It was a water
Actually,
wetsuit, and he's
Speaking
water.
Of,
We're all
speaking
water.
of logistics, or even semantics, or even life in general.
Yeah, all the
What's
icks.
up with how she just came back to life? Did she did
she
she?
explained it
She definitely should
before
have
she
died.
died.
I know.
That
Yeah, but,
because of the
like-
cool temperatures.
No, I get that, but like in the movie, they like
She dies.
hit her with the thing a bunch of times, and then like they press the air in her, and then it's not till he's like, "God damn it, Betty, you better not." Leave
It's a
me," and then
fucking
she's
cheap
suddenly
shot.
Like, where
That's a
she's
cheap
suddenly
shot
like,
in a
Oh my
movie.
god, I'm alive! Like, I don't understand what was going on with that. What was going on with that?
Dramatic effect is what was going on.
It's a cheap shot. It's a cheap shot.
It's cheap shot by me.
No, it's a cheap shot for a movie to do that. For a movie to be like, she is legit dead, and then just let it kind of simmer for a minute, and then, I mean, movies do it all the time, but I didn't. I
Frighteners
thought
did that shit.
I thought better of James Cameron. I thought he would have. I thought
let me
when
say
she
this.
died and we all believed she died, I was like, oh fuck, she died. That's wild. Like, the rest of the movie's gonna go on without her, and then like 2 minutes later, they're like, no, let's bring her back.
Well,
That was a
I'm
dramatic scene, bro. That was a
I'm
good
not
scene.
even mad
Yeah,
that
the
she came
fuck,
back.
yeah.
I'm just mad she didn't come back like under the scientific way of like getting her heart to
They
start
did.
again.
That's-
No,
that's
Jake,
kinda what they
she
did.
sat there for a good minute while he screamed her name, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden popped up. It was
He
totally
was
weird.
doing the
Cheap shot.
CPR.
No,
he was
not
doing
when she popped up.
CPR.
No,
he was
she
doing
was
all
not getting
that.
any
They
CPR
started
when she
CPR
popped up.
again.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
started
and
it
then
again.
she
They
sat there
shocked her
for
again.
like a
Took a
minute.
second for her to react.
No,
It
they
took about
they
heart
started
again.
good, like 2
they
minutes.
started CPR again, and then they shocked her again, and then he was CPRing her, and then she came back.
No,
Now, was it-
she
And he
didn't-
gave her, and then he gave
It
her
wasn't.
mouth to mouth. Yeah,
Stop
that's what
acting
happened.
like that's what, dude. Yeah, but
2 versus
the
1,
last time-
Schwartz. You're wrong
the
again.
last time he gave her mouth to mouth and did the fucking compressions on her chest, it's about a minute and a half later
I
that
don't
she
think so.
pops up. Oh my god,
No.
watch it. I'll
It's
bet.
it's like a minute and a half.
Maybe 30 seconds.
It's like a minute and a half, but he does then he starts
Again.
doing it again,
Starts
and
again.
that's when
No.
she comes back. Yes.
No,
he
that's not
does.
true.
He
Yeah,
does.
I just watched it twice
I
today.
just watched it
That's
like
not true.
an hour ago.
He like screams her name and then she pops
You're right.
up.
No, he
But she
doesn't.
doesn't do the
Yes,
chest.
she scream. He screams her name. That's what I was saying. That's why I was saying it's a cheap shot, because she dies to all of us, to anyone watching. She dies, and they make it clear that she's dead. And then he's like, "Nah, let's try it again." And he's dead, because it's like a minute of him being like, "She's dead. Why is she dead?" Everyone's like, "Stop, dude, she's dead." And then he's like, "Nah, she's got a strong heart." And then he starts doing
I
it
know.
again. And then he starts doing it again though, and then they shock her again, and then she comes back to life.
No, I'm gonna pull this thing up. I'm gonna show you. Just
Go
keep going.
ahead.
I'll pull it up.
Go. Cool. Let's watch Schwartz be wrong in real time.
No, I'm gonna show you. Just
You're
keep going.
Go
going to
ahead.
show us what we're saying,
Go ahead.
Right.
and you're going to be wrong. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll see.
But what happened was that it was explained before it even went down, so it made the scene completely made sense, because she's like, "I'm going to drown.
Didn't completely
My
make
organs
sense.
are going to fucking
Just
freeze."
because you say something,
You guys are
doesn't
gonna
make it
revive
make
me.
sense.
You got it happened in fucking Frighteners, and you guys love that movie.
Did we?
Yeah, but that's a movie about
Michael J.
ghosts.
Fox froze
That's a movie about
himself.
Ghosts.
He came back to life. Yeah, it's still like
This is a
based
movie
on
about aliens.
science. You can slow your organs down to a point where you're essentially dead, and then you can
I
be
get the
revived.
science, quote unquote science behind it. In the movie, they make it clear that she died, and they make you have that feeling. And then a minute goes by, and he goes, "She's got a strong heart," and then he brings her back to life. So that's all I'm saying. It's a cheap shot. It's a cheap
That's
shot
drama,
to
dog.
make you, sure, call it what you want, but it's a cheap shot. Like that's lowbrow drama. That's all I'm saying. It's like if this was comedy, that would be lowbrow comedy. That'd be
I
a
don't
fucking
know.
dick joke.
What's funny is I
Uh-huh.
don't agree with you at all. I think it was kind of cool. I just
I think
wish
it's
he
cool.
would have done it in a way that you think he did it, which I'm watching it right now. I'm about to show
See,
you guys in a second.
what's great here is that I'm right in both of these arguments. It was dramatic and good, and what happened was me and Anthony were right on the events that happened. So I'm double right, and fuck you guys.
I just
No, you're
think
not,
I
though.
think it's a low blow for drama. I think that's just a cheap shot. That's all.
All right,
This
you
is
didn't
the
like
thing.
the
You're talking
dramatic
about a
effects of
movie-
the scene.
You're talking about a movie where you're surviving underwater, and what is one of the things to where you can do that is like be freezing yourself and go into a place. So it makes sense for it to be in the movie. Like
Yeah.
it's something he
It's
tried
the-
to think
it's
of.
the
Like, it
mammalian
makes
diving
sense,
reflex.
you know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
saying the way I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying the science is wrong. I'm saying the way that he portrayed it to be like, she's dead. Oh no, just kidding. She's not. Like that is a cheap shot.
Oh, no. James Cameron's a genius. He blends science and drama perfectly together. And love also
I
was a
agree.
big factor in this.
Yo,
It's a love
Interstellar
story.
is kind of a
Love.
rip off of this movie.
Yeah, Interstellar. It's another James Cameron movie.
What?
It's Jaws, Aliens, Interstellar, right? That's how it goes.
There's a lot going
Throw a
on in this
Terminator
movie.
in there?
There's a lot going on in this movie. Like what I was saying before is how contained it is. For how contained it is, there's a lot going on. There's like international missile crisis with the Soviet Union. There's a hurricane going on. These motherfuckers are oil drillers on the bottom of the ocean. Now they're working on a black op government mission to get nukes of a crashed submarine and fucking. Then they get disconnected.
Yeah, there was
It's
times where I
fucking-
wasn't sure if I liked the whole
Oh, and there's
crazy
aliens.
Navy SEAL guy.
There's
Yeah,
aliens
right.
down there.
I was like, what is it? Do we need this guy? Like, I feel like just them like going on like a rescue mission with aliens would have been good enough, but like the crazy Navy
And
SEAL
that-
guy kind of added a big dramatic effect to it.
And I think that this movie could have been extremely dramatic and very compelling without the aliens. They take the alien equation completely out of this movie, and it just
Yeah.
the whole. I mean, that's kind of what Armageddon did. They're like, let's like Armageddon. There's no doubt that's what Armageddon is. It's just complete. They watch this movie, and who made Armageddon? Fucking
It was Michael Bay. Was it a Michael Bay joint?
is that Bay? Yeah. Early
I
early
feel
MB.
like it was Bay.
I mean, there's no doubt that's a direct ripoff minus the aliens add space.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought the same. I forgot a lot about this
They're
movie.
oil drillers.
Yeah, oil drillers. Forgot all about that. I thought they were just like divers. I mean, they were divers, but I thought that was kind of it. But I guess it made sense being that they were in that whole whatever that was, not a submarine, but where they lived.
It's an
was like a special
underwater oil rigging,
Oh, yeah.
oil drilling rig
Barracks
that
or
she
whatever.
designed. This is where I have my problem with her. Is who the
Yeah,
fuck
women
is she?
can't design
Not,
things.
not women. And I mean, that was the question Schwartz asked me, is like, did I like her character, her acting? I think her acting was fine. I think the character is stupid. I think she like who is she? Was she a fucking? She's not like a roughneck. She's not like she's not an oil driller. Is she? Why is she designing underwater
scientist,
oil tank, underwater oil rig? Like, is she like a Liv Tyler character? Is she like the daughter of an oil driller or something? Like, she just doesn't come across in any way as someone who would be designing underwater oil drilling rigs.
Scientific
Why
business
though?
lady.
Because
Because
they
she
didn't give her any background or anything. You mean?
yeah, there's zero background to and she doesn't and based off looks and like and demeanor alone, she doesn't look like anyone that's ever been around an oil drilling rig, you know, like the people that make up the ship, the crew on the ship, very believable. I love the crew on the ship. I love that they're just regular ass people working at the bottom of the ocean. I think it's fucking rad. It's just her character. I get why she's there. She's got to have this like love interest that brings him back to life in the end. But
Yeah.
I just think they could have made her character a little, I don't know, I just make her character a little more believable, or give her some kind of believable background that I can be like, all right, I see why she's here. Trying to take control. Like everyone's, who the fuck is this bitch? Like, why is she even here? It's kind of how I felt too.
Yeah, there was a point where I looked at her and I'm like, she looks like every woman in every 80s movie that there's ever been. Like a dark brownish
She was in
blonde.
a perfect storm.
Yeah, like that, like reddish brunette hair, curly,
kind
of
Total,
long,
Total
full
Recall. Could have been
denim
like that.
shirt, red little puffy jacket thing. Looked like the girlfriend in Back to the Future, but also the sister in Ferris Bueller, but also Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman. It was like all like, it was just like all hotties. It's just like, this is what 80s women look like. Boom. Yeah, it's true. All that shit. I mean, yeah, it had the aliens vibe of like the space station, but it's an underwater station.
That's just the look. Like right after this, like the 10 years after this, it would be fucking Kardashian look, and now it's like Barbie look. So it's just a fucking vibe that was going on in the 80s, and I didn't hate it.
All right. Well,
What?
nothing.
What do you got to say about this movie? How are they
Well,
getting
should we just start
TV
going
down
through
there? That's one question I had.
Satellites?
They have fucking antenna
I
satellites.
don't even know. I have no idea.
I mean, for sure there were satellites in '89, at least
I'm
a
no
couple.
marine biologist.
But I don't think there was like TV satellites for submarines.
I mean, there was definitely like radio of some sort. I mean, there's always been communication in submarines, I think. There's got to be. Shit, I don't know. I don't know how that shit works.
You guys want to watch this video
it-
I'm about to show you real quick?
Sure. Let's
All right.
pause and let's see if you're correct.
Seconds exactly.
Okay, and what is he?
It
done
was
for
30
We
seconds.
proved you're
I
wrong.
said 30 seconds. You said no. It was like
You were like
2 minutes.
You said it was like 2 minutes.
minutes. I said it was
Okay, so
30
you're
seconds.
saying that-
It takes a little bit.
He
for the body
was
to, like,
slapping her
figure out
and he was
revive
shaking
it.
her, and then she
So you're
woke up.
saying those 30 seconds, she should have just popped up like that? That's
He
how
was
it works?
slapping her, and then he was shaking her, and
What
then
does
a
slapping
few
have to
seconds
do with having
later,
your heart start.
The-
What does slapping
it-
have to do with your heart
The
starting?
heart started after the fucking shock thing. And it took like 30 seconds for her to actually start responding to that.
That's how it
pretty
works?
simple. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't
get.
know that's
Well,
how
I
it
don't
worked.
fucking know if that's how it works, but what you're saying was
I mean,
it was like
I'm-
2 minutes. It was 30 seconds.
It was long enough for they didn't seem like what he was doing revived her. Like
Well,
it
it wasn't
he
a
was
minute and a
slapping
half.
her. Okay, fine. But 30 seconds in real time is still a pretty long time to still be dead without anybody putting fucking air into your lungs, and then all of a sudden you wake up. That's like 1, 2.
No, I think
3,
realistically, it would have the body would
4,
have to. She would have to start.
5.
It would take a
30
little bit
seconds is
for
a
the
long
reaction.
fucking time. Don't act like it's not.
It's not 90 seconds, is what you. But that
I
was
get
your
that,
original
and you're
claim.
dwelling on that.
And
but my point still my point's still the same. Is that
you're wrong
it's
because
longer.
you actually said a minute and a half, and what I was saying was like it was more like 30 seconds because the body needs to start reacting, and you're saying you're still right even though you're not. And
no, I was saying that what he was doing,
estimated time was wrong.
What he was doing by doing the zappy thing and the fucking palpitations or whatever, he stops like a while before she comes back to
30
life.
seconds.
Yes, that is a long time. 30 seconds of not doing anything, and then all of a sudden coming back to life is a very long time. 30 seconds.
I think
is very long to be dead.
It was long enough for the heart to start kicking up.
That's
and
your
then...
theory, but you don't know if that's true or not. That's your theory, and that's what we're going on.
So you
but,
think
like, it still
after
seems like a long time.
So you think, well, it wasn't 90 seconds. That was the main point of the
Jake,
conversation.
you said
that
that
was
3
the main part of
times.
the...
The point
I know.
of the conversation
that's what you were saying
is
before.
that it's a long time. That's the only point I'm making. So your point's irrelevant.
No, it just sounds like I was right
it
and
was
you
a
were
long
wrong,
time.
and now you're mad about it, and now you're trying to justify the fact that
I was not wrong. I
your
showed
timing
you the video.
was wrong.
I showed you the video, and it was a long time.
It was 30 seconds.
You're arguing, Jake. 30 seconds being dead and not getting your heart palpitated or zoned is a long time.
But you were wrong by your original statement.
Fine, but the original statement was that it was a long time, and what he was doing wasn't causing her to be alive. That was the argument I was making.
So
you think someone
once
the heart? So you think once a heart starts, they're just gonna immediately be like, "I'm awake now, guys. Everything's good." It's not gonna take a second for them to like kind of wake up.
Yeah. Maybe 5-6 seconds.
Gain a little consciousness.
Let's count to 30 and see how long that takes. That's a pretty long time.
I know how long it takes to get to 30 seconds.
I think it was less than 30 seconds, to be honest. But
I literally timed it because I wanted to prove Schwartz wrong and prove to him that it was be 30.
But you didn't prove me wrong. Like
I proved you wrong that your original statement was wrong. Your original statement was wrong.
Yeah.
That was the point of the conversation.
Yeah,
that wasn't the point of my conversation.
Well, you're making up on points after the fact that you're wrong.
That was the point of the statement that you made. Like that's what you said.
Timing.
So
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Okay, well, the statement that you misunderstood is that he
tell us what you want now.
I did not misunderstand you saying 90,
and then she became alive.
I did not misunderstand you saying a minute and a half because I remember saying 30 seconds, and I was the one who was right. And you're saying I'm still,
it doesn't matter. It's all realistic, and she should have just stayed dead. That would have been rad.
It didn't make sense. He didn't
just
make her come alive.
Dead.
She just like came alive after he yelled at her.
No, he didn't. I think you just proved yourself wrong. But
I didn't though.
You did, but
it doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares? She should have just died. That's what she should have died.
I like
that would have been
she
rad.
died and came back. That's dope. That's fun.
It was all part of the plan.
I didn't like that. I thought she should have just stayed dead.
I think it would have been more maybe dramatic for the movie because I think then the end was a little sappy with the whole love story. But I also thought like her being alive is what kept Bud alive.
Also, maybe they didn't survive any of that. Maybe that's all just hallucination going on in their brain. Schwartz is over there counting seconds again on the video
of whatever. When like
I'm not watching the video
because remember when he he was about to clip one wire and then change his mind and clip the other in the very.
Yep.
I thought for a second like what if he did clip that first one and after that everyone was dead and the rest of it was just them going to heaven and ascending and all like the alien shit and all the crazy legends that was
after like they're kissing and shit on in the golden hour. I was like, dude, it's gonna flash back to him just being like taking his last breaths at the bottom.
Could have been.
How crazy is that? They really drowned that fucking rat for that scene. Like that was a real thing going on. Isn't that wild?
No, there was 5 different rats, and none of them died, but all of them.
Exactly, but they really did what they showed. They really did. There was no trickery.
Killing
in
the
that.
animals. Well, yeah, they definitely fucked up some rats.
It's the 80s, dude. They didn't give a fuck about animals.
But still, like they didn't hurt it at all.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
It
had a little trouble breathing, I'm sure, but
I'm sure.
So did fucking Ed Harris.
Shit, you saw it.
They didn't kill any animals. It wasn't a cannibal holocaust where they're like murdering animals or anything like that for entertainment.
Yeah, they did. They did do that. They just tortured the animal for entertainment. Even better.
For a few seconds, yeah. A few seconds of torture. I mean,
anyways, this one wasn't much. Not believable.
The rat didn't go through
miraculously
much worse than what the
survives.
actors went through.
There's fucking hurricanes brewing. And aliens exist. The end.
There was so much
going on
of like just little like personal things coming from Cameron. You can hear like Ed Harris is like, I think all hurricanes should be named after women, don't you? Bunch of bitches.
Yeah, there was a lot of women hate in this movie.
There was. There's like
And the
a
one
thing
woman character sucks.
well, there was two.
There's two.
There was
Who's the other one?
there was
Oh,
the
yeah.
One Night was her name.
One Night.
There was something I've heard of recently that it's like this weird like social study of movies where it's like some sort of test where they take it's a simple test of like, is there two women in a movie? Do those two women talk in the movie? And do those two women, what they talk about, more than 30 seconds? And is it not about the main character who is a man in the movie? And that's like a weird social test of like judging movies. I don't know what it's fucking called. It's kind of pointless, but I realized that like this movie does not pass that test. No way. And I just found that funny because I like just learned about that test.
I think you'll find most movies in the 80s and 90s probably don't pass that test.
Right. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's probably
You mean the good ones?
an overwhelming amount of movies don't actually pass that test, which is
Twister kind of
funny
doesn't
in a
pass
way.
that test, but it's
Probably
like
not.
the main chick's a chick.
probably most like James Cameron movies.
He is
I
the
mean,
greatest pioneer.
Yeah, I mean Terminator and Terminator 2 are like the lead is a woman unless you call it Arnold, but she's like the only woman in the movie pretty much the whole time. Even that. Not
And
that
she kills it.
Not that I care, but yeah.
I don't know.
it's just
Terminator
funny.
Genesis.
I don't think I saw that one.
Kate Winslet was good in Titanic. She wasn't the only woman.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was a true
Kathy
story.
Bates was on that boat.
Yeah, that passed the test, whatever the test is.
Kathy Bates is new money, dude.
True.
I bet she fucking met the abyss. She would have broken his ankles.
All right, so what's this about then? Since we argued for for a long time, we've been recording for a while.
God, no, you were really late, so we've only been recording for like a half hour.
That's a while. Stop before we really talk about the
It's
plot.
a while to argue about 4 seconds.
Yeah,
We were
you
arguing.
guys
We were
are the
arguing. We got
worst.
30 seconds versus 90.
You
seconds.
guys, I thought I had an intruder. I left half the time.
Thought someone was breaking in.
I heard like a knocking, but
Oh, weird.
I don't
I was
know.
curious where you went. All right. I mean, we kind of went through a lot of what it was. Like it started
All
with
the good parts.
with,
Yeah.
with the sub. Started with the sub. Then they noticed they were like under attack by something. Some sort of fast moving object was going toward them. We see kind of a crazy bright swooshing light, and then that sub crashes. The
Everybody
government, yeah, pretty much everyone dies. The government employs this oil rig to check on their safety because I guess there's a storm a brewing, so there's a hurricane blowing in, so they
Yeah.
can't get their people there quick enough. So they're like, you guys are going to be there fast enough, but. What was also weird, little contradictive, is like suddenly then that's when the main character lady came in, Lindsay flies in and like, well, no, I have to go down with these few dudes. So there were some people that were available, so it didn't really make sense why they did that. And then okay, so they went down.
think to take the time to mobilize the equipment that is necessary to go a mile underneath the water takes longer than flying 4 SEALs out in a helicopter.
And I guess what was the
Jake.
point? Just they knew that there was a nuclear warhead or something, and they had to salvage it.
I think that's
And
the
that's-
point. Yeah, I
that's
think
what
that
they
was the
didn't-
whole thing.
that's what they didn't tell the crew.
The whole thing about it is it's like there's war games going on at this point between us and the Soviets, and everybody's got nukes, and this fucking thing went down. Nobody knows why it went down. Everybody thinks it's Soviets brought it down, so that they think Soviets might be around looking for it. That's why, like, they said that in the beginning. They're like, I don't want to go down there if there's fucking Soviet subs around, like ready to bomb us. They could kill us and say it was, don't know what happened,
So let's send the common man.
So let's send this Bruce Willis motherfucker down there. And it's like this
Enter Harris.
underwater drilling rig, very futuristic looking.
Right.
There's a little city down there.
Maybe not futuristic, but it looks very futuristic.
Yeah, it looks pretty wild.
I feel like
It's
all
a-
the equipment that you see seems like it would work. I don't know how practical it would be in that sense, but all the things you see seem realistic enough.
Yeah.
Which I love about JC's movies, like even
Yeah.
Aliens. But I mean that had like a little archetype already. But I think the same people built the ships in this movie that built the alien ships in Aliens. Built
Yeah.
like the underwater subs and shit. They all looked practical. They all looked real. Didn't look too futuristic.
The music in this movie was sometimes similar to Aliens too, and you had like the military themes every once in a while, like that was like very Aliens.
Mhm.
the visuals of like them in like because there was a lot of like the different submarine type things, a lot of different pieces of equipment that would come in and out of the main
those were cool.
station. Those are cool. Had that look. It looked like a space movie in that sense too, because they were
They
just
looked like
floating
aliens.
around. Yeah, exactly. It looked
Yeah.
like this very similar crafts that they looked like in Aliens.
And now that you're saying that too, it does look like they were just kind of flying through space in those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Definitely.
pretty rad look.
yeah, it was. Those like they had the round, they had like the big claws and shit. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was dope. I like that the one chick too was sitting in there like singing country music and then just
Yeah.
like drinking coffee. Like that, it's
One
like just
night.
a blue collar job, like underwater.
100%.
Like, it's
These
pretty
guys,
wild.
these guys
Yeah.
are just fucking truckers and roughnecks
Yeah.
down at the bottom of the ocean, just doing a
Yeah.
job. And they were now. How did he put it? He was like, we were invited to be a part of this military mission, which
Yeah,
didn't
something
seem
like
like they
that.
had much of a choice.
No. Well, they got paid triple time.
Triple time, which everyone
So-
agreed to. Which listen, if I was at
At
the
first
bottom,
at
I'd be
first
like,
it sounds dope,
it sounds
and then
good.
you realize what you're getting into.
They probably made a lot of money that day though.
The survivors. I wonder if they got
Yeah.
any of the dead people's money. You know,
No
It's
way,
like,
dude.
well,
The government's like, well, they're dead,
round
so
it
we don't
up.
have to pay anything.
True.
We all know the government's cheap.
True.
How
So
about
yeah,
the
they
tidal
go.
waves?
They do their initial dive with the marine guys, and some of them kind of freak out. They go down there to the main sub. They go. It's like hella deep down. I don't remember the numbers, but it's very deep. And
They're like, I think where the sub crashed is below 2,000 feet,
yeah,
and it's
like
they're
200 meters or something.
they're at like 2,000 feet, but the sub crashed like on a ledge below that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there's even the lower, which goes fucking where he went at the end, which was like thousands and thousands of feet.
Yeah, it was cool how it like almost existed like on a cliffside, but just
Yeah,
a
it
cliff
was,
side
100%.
underwater.
Yeah,
That was like it was pretty interesting. There's a lot of
some of
layers to that.
the biggest mountains in the world are underwater.
Yeah,
And they're like 4 times the size of Everest.
That's wild.
yeah,
The Marianas Trench is what? It's like 5 miles deep or something, 6 miles deep,
yeah.
which is like, think of that as like the face of a mountain. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean Everest is the tallest thing on Earth, and that's only 30,000 feet or like 29,000 feet or something like
It's
that.
the
So that's
tallest
only-
mountain that's not underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not land, and that's a little over 5 miles, right?
I don't know. It's not that big.
Yeah. No. So yeah, they go down there. Everyone, they see what they expected. There's dead bodies everywhere down below because everyone in the submarine, the submarine crashed and blew up and everyone died, and they're starting to look for they know there's nuclear something on it because they have a little trigger thing, little
They were
gigometer or whatever the
given
fuck it's
by
called.
the special ops guys like little Geiger counters to know
Geiger counter,
if they had radiation, which is when they were like, I don't want to go down there, my dick's gonna fall off. Which the characters, I gave the people who I said before, they were cool characters. Everyone seemed very realistic and blue collar. I liked the dude with the rat, was fucking super cool. They were all everyone. The kind of dumb big guy
Cat.
was cat who cat looked like somebody. I was like, oh, that's motherfucking somebody, Davidson or something. Shout out to Davidson. Redhead Davidson,
Cat was like
or the big cat,
big burly dude,
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of a big cat. That was underwater
that's
big
kinda
cat.
cat. Oh yeah, cat
It's
was
like
the
if
guy
Drew,
who
it's
kind
like
of
if
freaked
Drew
out.
Liner was like a southerner. Well, then Jammer was the one who freaked out underwater in the first initial dive.
Okay, yeah, that's who I'm thinking.
'Cause
Of.
he-
Cat's the
and 'cause-
redheaded guy.
Yeah, Cat's more the big redheaded guy who like fights the marine later.
Yeah, he helps at the end. He strips down to his skivvies and goes swimming.
Cat's badass. There's Jammer, and then there's just people that died later.
And
because of
one
the whole
night,
thing.
she's the like kind of she runs the flatbed, which is like it seems like the biggest. So there's like the main research ship, which is at the top. It's just a normal ship that's tethered all the way down to this underwater drilling rig. And then inside the drilling rig has like 4 other smaller submersibles that go out and actually do the work. Flatbed being the largest one. And then I think those were called cats, weren't they? Cat 1 and Cat 2 or something. The other ones, they were
like that.
smaller, like little
Yeah.
things. And then there were even smaller one, remote control,
Yeah,
ROV
like the camera
ones,
ones. Yeah,
which are cool.
it's like underwater
and then like
drones.
to do this, or no, the whole thing, right? I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot going on. There's like this whole thing's going on because it's like a Soviet crisis, but they're about to be untethered from the ship above because of the hurricane coming. So that's like an important note. It happens a little prematurely, but spoiler, but and so now they're down there, Geiger counters in the sub,
Yeah.
dead bodies.
That
Michael
body-
Bean.
Michael
Jammer's
Bean.
favorite.
Yeah, Jammer freaks out, and then he doesn't go with them, and then he ends up seeing one of the a creature, some sort of bright light. And this is at the same time where also Lindsay sees a creature outside zipping around by her.
She's in
by
her own
submersible.
sub, taking pictures. Like she
Yeah.
has, like everyone's got their things to do. She's got to take pictures. One night's got to like hover above something for some reason, and and then they're inside looking around.
Yeah, so that's when That's when they first start seeing the things, and they don't know what they are yet. They're kind of just
Yeah,
little
it's
weird
just a
bright
light.
things. But what it is weird because like a lot of those deep water creatures also have that like glowing effect. So it's like
Yeah, but the
they're
one that
like
she sees that looks like a little slug where you can see its mouth and shit. I mean, that looks pretty alien.
for
But I guess
sure,
it
but
could be a fish. Actually,
all
you're
those
right. You're right.
all the fish down there look crazy. I
They
mean,
were
they
bright
have
as
true.
fuck. They
When
were
you're
cool.
because
when
like
you're
some of them
down
look
that
like
low, it's
weird,
they
like
have weird species.
well, they look like weird, almost what are those like rays, like the
Manta rays
stingray,
or whatever.
yeah, stingrays or manta rays, but they look like they're just translucent and
Yeah.
colorful.
You're gonna
So
be careful
Also, isn't
about
there like
those.
sea slugs and shit too? It could be a sea slug. I
yeah,
guess.
it could have been a lot of things. So they don't really know, and then I think it's not until later when
Look at fucking cuttlefish and octopus. Those are fucking weird
those
as
things are
fuck,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, like underwater things are wild. It's a whole other world down there.
Anglerfish has bioluminescence.
That's why something with this movie, they never actually clarify if they're like aliens from another planet, do they? They just
And I think they're space. I think they're space aliens.
Well, I think you can interpret two ways. It's like, are they space aliens that came here to warn us about what we're doing and what happens in the end, or were they like inhabiting down there and we're fucking it up for them now, so now they got to make their presence known. It could be either one.
I'm almost thinking that in a
I
way,
think-
because especially if we're talking the special edition version where the whole thing was like them basically fighting back against humanity.
Yeah, the special edition.
Yeah.
There's no question as to why they're there.
Yeah, they seem to be. But again, then the special edition doesn't make it clear either way if they're
Well,
from here or from.
It doesn't make it
another
clear,
planet.
but what they say that everyone there hypothesizes that they're from space. They kind of say that. They
what?
say when he says, "I have new friends," and he says they've been here for a while. Not like that. That kind of makes it think that they
that's
haven't
true.
always been there.
True.
And that's it. That there is no end. I just think that they kind of made it. I think in the movie scheme of things, it is. I think
that
they
like
want you to think it's
but
space.
that's like
I
I
think
feel
they
like
want you to
maybe
think
that's
it's
more of like a new school thought when it comes to aliens.
What?
Is I think like before the thought of aliens is like they're just from outer space, they're creatures from outer space. I think there's like a new way of looking at aliens these days of like interdimensional beings or things that have always been here, not discovered, things that are living among us that are in disguise, things like that. I think that's just like a new way of thinking about them in a way.
That's not how I think about them.
Because you're
Aliens.
basic
Fucking
bitch in the
aliens.
80s.
Aliens are fucking aliens. They're not interdimensional beings.
I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, it
maybe
depends on what movie you're
interdimensional
talking
beings.
about.
Interdimensional beings maybe can be aliens,
Yeah.
but I think aliens are like
A different
space
time and place.
creatures, not of dimensions. I think we've had this argument. This argument feels very familiar.
Yeah, probably working on Skinwalker Ranch and shit like that. We've talked about this. Sure, we've had
Spoiler:
this
we worked on
conversation there.
Skinwalker. There were
Yeah.
aliens.
We know stuff about interdimensional or outer space beings.
Yep.
But we don't know which ones they were.
They were certainly out of country.
Yes.
Outer space, out of state.
Out of space.
Cosmic. Anyways, she
Who's
should've
to
died.
know? Who's to know?
I like the joke when Lindsay is doing a dive before. I'm not sure when this was, but Lindsay's out by herself doing a dive. What are you doing, Schwartz?
Getting lint off here. Calm
I
down.
thought you were like trying to get me to steal third. She and one night, who kind of already makes it known she's not a big fan of Lindsay. She's talking to Ed Harris' character, and they're saying something about, and she's like, "Well, she ain't as smart as she thinks she is," and she takes her umbilical and she like pinches it as if to say, like, we could just fucking kill it right now, nobody would be the wiser. I thought that was a good joke.
Yeah. Now,
That's
this
pretty
movie's great
smart.
because it's very original and it's very like you don't really see many movies that take place in a situation like this with this kind of stakes going on, whether it be trying to survive from the fucking army guy who's going crazy or getting messages. I think the last 20 minutes is amazing. Like, I love it. That's the only part I remember from a kid. I remember seeing this when I was a kid and like not remembering anything except for the last 20 minutes because that's when you're like, oh shit, look at
Same.
this.
Yeah, I think
But it's very cool.
I think I'm the opposite. I think the last 20 minutes is the weakest part of the movie.
Really? I kind of
Yeah.
loved it. I watched the special edition. I don't know if it changed it from the regular edition, but I only watched special ones.
I watched both, and it doesn't.
What's
the
the
special
biggest difference?
The biggest difference in the special or the theatrical version is you don't see he takes out basically everything about Soviet versus America, like tension. All of that is
Oh,
gone.
really?
And
Yeah.
the whole
movie.
tidal wave thing is not in there.
The whole tidal wave
Oh,
sequence,
like
all
them
of that,
controlling all that shit's not in
all
there.
of the
It's just,
all
they
of the,
just
when
save them. That's
the
it.
aliens saying, like, when he's texting them and he says, "I found new friends," and they are trying to they sent you a message. I hope you got all that's gone. All of like the
Oh,
obvious,
shit.
this is why they're here and this is what they're doing. and this was like a message. All of that was gone. It was just
Why?
I don't know, because
How'd they cut out?
because
Yeah,
it was
I don't
three.
know.
It was almost 3 hours, and
So
then
let
it
me
was
ask you
fucking
this:
1989.
Did it make? Do you think it would be better or worse without it?
I felt it was way more effective with the long.
With it, right?
I
Yeah.
think I liked a lot of the. Oh, also they took it out because ILM couldn't do the tidal waves. They were doing these. They did like this practical tidal wave,
didn't look very
and
good.
he said it looked like shit. So he was just like, all right, we're cutting that out.
Hmm.
I think that part was cool. I think the whole like Soviet part is cool. I think a lot of like talking or a lot of like news clips in the beginning and throughout the movie were cut out. Like that had to do with that.
Yeah.
But I think I liked that. I think them shoving in your face like the whole texting of this is why they're here. This was the message. I hope you got the message. LOL. Like all that. I thought that was a little much. And that could have been like just I think we would have interpreted that from seeing the waves almost hit and then not hit. I think we could have interpreted it, without having it literally spelled out for us.
Yeah, the long
Sure.
version was definitely like, we were going to kill everybody, but you revived or restored our faith in humanity, Ed Harris. So thank you, Ed Harris. Now we're going to
Yeah.
save you.
Because
and
you're
the rest of the world.
sacrificing yourself. You've shown
Yeah.
us that
We show,
humanity is worth
we see
saving.
that
Blah,
So
blah,
in
people
the
can be
original
good.
cut, that's not in it.
No,
In the
it's just
original
they
cut,
basically
he's still
just
saved.
straight save him, and then like he goes to their little underwater world, but they cut out that whole thing about them showing him the news.
He
and showing
literally
them, like, all that shit.
I love that
he
shit.
takes
I
his
know, I
helmet.
like
He
that
takes his
stuff.
helmet
That shit
off.
was dope.
He pukes up
Yeah.
all the water, and then he looks at the aliens and he goes, "Howdy, y'all." And then they go, and then they play the only message they play is the
love you,
last one
wife.
he sent to her. I came here or whatever. I gotta stay or whatever that last
So-
message was. And then that was it. And then they cut to the top.
So then it still does kind of tell the same story of like they did it because he kind of like proved that like his love for her is maybe why they did it, except they did it in a very fast way.
They did that.
Yeah,
They
it was
they
more of why
almost
they just
made it
saved
seem
him.
like and then the way they showed them saving I like the fact that they were about to destroy the world, and that is
Right.
not conveyed in the theatrical
Not at
version.
all.
Yeah.
Not at all. The only thing that they stopped from happening in the theatrical version is they cleared up the hurricane. That was it. They just show and even watching that, I would not have gotten that, oh, the aliens did. I would have just been like, oh, okay, it's all over. Like that's how it wasn't like, oh, the aliens were controlling the weather and now they've stopped controlling the weather. Like it almost has to be spelled out, I think, kind of in the way they did. Like I really liked that I almost saw the world get destroyed. I thought that was really cool.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, is it about to happen? Is it gonna happen? Because I've never seen this movie before.
Which was funny because I remember, like, I was like what Short was saying, like, I only really remember the end when like Ed Norton or not, Ed Harris was going underwater in that
Yeah,
crazy
flying.
suit. That was the main
Yeah.
part I remember from this movie. But then I didn't remember the whole end of him being. I remember there was like aliens that saved him, but couldn't remember if there was like we knew about the aliens or not. But then, yeah, we got a lot more out of the special edition.
I
which
also remembered the
kinda
ship
liked.
rising up from the ocean. I remembered that too.
Okay,
That was
yeah, I don't
pretty
think I
iconic.
remember that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and then there was like some character development. I think there was like a little bit more with like the crew just kind of hanging out, being buddies, doing fun stuff. That little like sing song part where they were like singing along with that
Yeah.
country song. That's not in the theatrical version.
That was the first thing I knew was not in the theater. I was like, well,
Yeah.
they definitely cut that out for the
Yeah.
theater.
like
there's no
the
reason
song
to
was
have that there.
playing in the background at one point, but they didn't have the whole like cut to them like singing along together, like having a good old time.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. And I think there was like maybe another scene with the dude with the rat being like kind of more like developing him as like the rebel but like smart at the same time.
More of like
Shit like
the hippie, like his name was fucking hippie, and that's
Yeah,
why he was like peace and love kind of guy.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was probably my favorite character.
Yeah, it was probably a good like 10 minutes of the ending that was cut and then like random throughout the movie here and there.
Yeah,
a
I'd
little
say
bit of all the Russian
I would
shit.
guess most of the ending, or most of the bulk of the
Yeah.
what was cut out, I think had to be the ending because there was
Yeah.
there was like a big because I switched over once the movie was over. I switched over to the theatrical version immediately and just watched I watched to see if she dies in the theatrical version because in my head I was like, it'd be rad if she died. She didn't. And then I fast forward and watched it from when he got like the things open up and he spits out all the water. I wanted to see. I was like, this is where it has to like. I'm sure something. I was very surprised at the amount that they cut out. It was just like cut. All right, now they're back up top. This is wild.
Yeah, I agree. It felt very after watching the special than watching the theatrical. It felt so like rushed.
Yeah, like the end chapter wise for DVDs, which DVDs. Oh man, I miss DVDs. Right. DVD menus, like navigating all the DVD menus and the special features, and like see sometimes there's like secret buttons and shit. I love that. I miss DVDs. And this was like 2000. This was re-released in 2002, I think, which is just height of DVD-ness.
Oh yeah,
the menus and this were sick. That said, it just takes forever to navigate. You're just like, all right, click, wait for the fucking animation. All right, go to the next thing. The last DVDs I've been watching, I was telling Jake, is Dark Angel, also James Cameron, and also has pretty sweet DVD menus. Yeah, DVDs, super widescreen.
Yes,
I love that we all committed to this and bought the DVDs.
What's crazy is I bought this DVD like before you even said anything about it.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You guys
I
made
bought
me.
it before we even said anything. It was awesome.
Yeah, and really, what made me do it is I was gonna do that James Cameron thing but I was working, so I spaced on the time, and by the time I looked, it was sold out, and I'm like, fuck. Because I've been wanting to see The Abyss.
Again, I'm just going to spend this money on a DVD instead.
Exactly. No, actually, the DVD would have been like $10 cheaper than going to the movie. And I don't know. I've been wanting to watch this movie because it's not streaming fucking anywhere. It's weird.
If you don't know, for being a James Cameron blockbuster fucking hit, this is not streaming anywhere. Yeah. It hasn't been released. It re-released in Blu-ray yet, even though it's rumored to be soon. I think he's just a little busy with his I don't know, he's got some kind of project going on.
Because I would have bought the Blu-ray. I looked for it too. I'm like, oh, there's not even a Blu-ray.
100%. You need the Blu-ray. You need it. I was watching Adam Savage. He was looking at the original. They had an original Cat 1. I think they're called Cats. The one of the submersibles. It was probably 4 feet wide. It was a real. It actually went underwater. It was actually remote control, and it was remote control by people underwater because they had to be underwater. So the remote control itself was waterproof. And this is 89. Remote control was waterproof. It had to have like some kind of system that went to the surface and then back down to control wirelessly the ROV, which was, so I mean, it was a real submarine. Like some of them were really shot underwater and this was one that was used in the chase scene. There's a pretty, I don't know what to think about the chase scene, but there was a long chase scene underwater with some reason. This was one of those things banging around. They're really down there just banging around. It was cool. They had to. I said limitations earlier, but it's not. It's like this is how they knew how to do things. There was no limitations of not having CG because there was no CG at that point. It's the opposite. It's they're like new ways, new routes are being opened up for them to use rather than being this is just the peak of this kind of special effects is this movie.
Technically a huge achievement. And like now fucking James Cameron just does a computer. Like Avatar is just fucking a computer. Like it's not even filmed.
but he's still pioneering the effects. Like the water effects are notoriously hard, and the water on Avatar 2 is like supposed to be, I've never seen it, but it's supposed to be like flawless. It's like
there's a lot of flaws. I saw it.
You seen the flaws?
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's weird. It's like
it's got to be the best that it's ever been.
There's times where like it feels like the frame rate is like off or something. You can like visually see it doesn't feel complete. Like there's like times where there's like actual like practical characters, like human characters in the world of the whatever those creatures are called, the Na'vi. And like that's always like jarring to me. It doesn't like fit right. And I don't know. I don't think it looked, at least the second one to me didn't look as good or as impressive as the first one. I think the first one was like very ahead of its time, of course. Yeah. And then now I think a lot of things have caught up.
The point is,
things don't look as great.
Maybe,
but this,
the point is, he's inventing technology, and at least helping the invention of, and pushing forward the technology. Because
he's a visionary. Yeah, he's a visionary for sure. I'm not taking that away from by any means. I'm just
I mean, there's certain directors
critical about Avatar 2, but other than that, his vision's insane.
There's certain directors that are going to be just like remembered for certain things, and when it comes to like the technological aspect of it, like Spielberg, Zemeckis, fucking Cameron, and George Lucas and maybe Peter Jackson are probably like the guys you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're actually doing
for special
things to-
effects. Peter Jackson. I mean, I don't think Peter Jackson is doing anything. That's the cool thing about him is Weta doesn't seem to be doing anything new as much as just it being perfect at the older techniques. Like, sure, they're using CG and shit, but their practical effects is probably some of the best
Well,
in
they
the
also-
industry. You know.
They also do like the mocap, like that's what kind of they started doing, like
Yes,
Gollum
true,
and shit.
true. Yeah,
But
yeah,
also,
yeah.
what I mean, I'm not saying that they're like doing anything that Lucasfilm or ILM aren't, but what I mean is that Peter Jackson literally just set up shop in New Zealand and was like, I'm going to make my own production company,
Yeah.
George Lucas style. So I put him into that category for that
For
reason.
sure.
Kind of, I guess Robert Rodriguez kind of falls in that too, because he set himself up in Texas and he's got like his own shit out there too, special effects companies and editing and all.
But
kinds of shit.
for like pioneers in it, I would say George Lucas, James Cameron, and then I would
Yeah.
put John Favreau in there as like three people that are pushing the technology and making that are actually making the technology better actively.
Sure, I think Zemeckis falls in there too for
Sure,
a little
yeah.
bit because
Yeah, definitely.
he
definitely.
was like a big tester.
Who
for
Framed
all the
Roger
things.
Rabbit?
Yeah, I mean even his all digital movies like the Christmas Carol and Beowulf and fucking Polar Express. You know what I mean? He's just testing technologies and making
Even
see how they work.
Forrest Gump won Best Visual Effects.
Forrest Gump.
I mean, yeah, great.
But that's
visual effects.
ILM.
Yeah,
but
true,
it was
right?
a Zemeckis movie. Like
It was
True,
Zemeckis.
you know what I mean?
true.
Yeah.
No,
Just
just-
because like
yeah.
and those effects were cooler because it wasn't like a sci-fi movie at all.
Yeah,
they just were really good at
exactly.
implementing those random.
He was definitely
bits
one of
and
the
pieces
first.
into that.
I mean, honestly,
like
you know who,
Fincher does today.
I was
Like
about to
he's
say,
one of the first
Fincher-
people to do that.
Fincher can kind of be in that category too, where he not maybe created the effects, but he's using them to his advantage. He's
But didn't
using
Fincher
effects
come from
to his advantage?
ILM?
He did come from ILM, yeah.
ILM, dude.
First movie was
ILM.
was the
There's no,
predecessor
like, they
or
are-
successor to James Cameron's.
Kings.
True. Yeah, no, that is true. It was a great film. I mean, it's cool that it was like everything I know about James Cameron. This was it. It was like he loves the ocean. He loves aliens. He loves like machinery and technology that people are like enthralled in and have to like almost depend on and have to battle against. And it's pretty much what this was. It was all those things.
Yeah, such a James Cameron movie.
James
After watching
Cameron
this again,
101. I
it's-
feel like this might be the most James Cameron movie ever, to be honest.
totally.
You know what I mean? It's like him at his most like James Cameron.
Yeah, it blends Avatar, Titanic, Aliens,
Yeah.
all into this.
Yeah. Terminator 2, not Terminator 2 the movie, but Terminator TOO, like with the technology,
Yeah.
the fact that like it's technology, you're going against that, you know.
But even Terminator 2 TWO with
Yes,
the
yes.
T1000
Which
and
he
the
made
whole,
after this movie.
and the what is this, a Russian space water tube? No, this is an alien.
That
Can you
was
imagine
good.
he
That was
made
a good line.
he made Terminator, Aliens, this movie, Terminator 2, True
yeah.
Lies, and Titanic all in a row. That's
Dude, he's
pretty
fucking
it's pretty
killer.
good.
He's a killer.
That's
dude.
pretty fucking good.
And he takes his time. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
There was something I heard about the post production of this movie where he kept pushing it and kept pushing it, and I guess there was like the studio was like, all right, no, by August 12th, if this isn't in theaters, you have to go and drive to every single theater in the country and verbally tell the story out loud 4 times a day. That's what you have to do if this movie.
Okay.
And he's just like, all right,
Where do I start?
I'll finish it.
Yeah.
Imagine that being a thing. You go to like Avatar 3 and James Cameron's like, it wasn't perfect. So here's what happened. The Navari.
I would just be like,
they
shut
still
up, Weinstein, or I'm going to tell on you.
I mean, I don't know if James Cameron's done Weinstein stuff, but let's hope not.
Oh, they knew each other. He's been to the island.
Oh shit. That's Epstein.
Weinstein,
dude.
Epstein.
Wrong Steve.
Yo, Weinstein's been to the island.
They both been to the island, probably.
Weinstein's been to the island.
Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
So before we rank the movie,
From
or
outer space?
anything else you want to say, actually? Because I want to rank James Cameron movies. I think
Oh,
that'd
there's
be
a
fun.
lot. I mean, have we even gone through
I
this
don't-
movie?
We haven't, but we
Kinda
did in a disjointed way. I think.
Yeah, go ahead,
going
keep
through
going.
Yeah, tell
I
us
mean, I
what
could
it's
keep
about.
because really, like the plot, I only got to that like first sub part, and they got the thing, and
Yeah.
eventually the storm kicks up, and then the crane falls
Bro,
down. The
let's
crane
talk about
almost
that,
fucking
like, the
damages
whole-
them.
That scene of the crane
pretty
coming
crazy.
down,
Yeah.
that was probably the scariest scene of the whole movie.
Yeah,
Watching the
anticipation.
umbilical just
Yeah.
coil up in front of them, and them just being like, "Oh, fuck, like it's coming down, dude." Like it's probably coming right on top of. And then like,
Yeah.
that whole buildup is so much buildup. I'm holding my breath until it slams in front of them, and
Like,
you know,
"We're
in the
good."
back of your mind, you're like, "It ain't over," but in front of your mind, you're like, "All right, cool." And then everyone's celebrating, and then like in the middle of your mind, you're like, "All right, maybe it is over." Like this is fine. Everything's gonna be okay. And then you like it starts to creak again. You're like, fuck, dude. And it goes down. Oh man, that whole release and build up it killed me. That was the best. That was the best part.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Best,
And that's when the
scariest
crane
part.
again tips over and then brings their ship down, pulls their ship over the edge of another cliff, and then it drops a whole level.
Dude.
And that's when a whole bunch of shit gets fucked up. 3 of the crew members die.
That's when they see the megalodon.
Yeah, that's when at one point they realize they only have like a few hours left of air. So homegirl goes out and then she sees another one up close and personal. And then I think shortly after that,
She tries to take a picture of it. Almost
the worm tube.
Which
we didn't mention that
talking-
whenever this thing comes around, all the electronics completely die. That's kind of
right, true.
okay, all the lights go down, all the cameras turn off. Like they can't see them.
It's like Nope.
Classic Sasquatch Nope situation.
Yeah.
Another thing too is the cinematography underwater was pretty great. Like the fact that like I was reading about it and I didn't notice it until the second viewing, but all of the light is actually coming from somewhere practically. Like like they have one of those things or where they put the camera's positioned to where they're outside and where their like little base is. It's all practical as possibly can be, which the only thing they said it could be is either lights from the base or one of those little basically amphibicopter things or a light from your helmet, you know what I mean? But it's all like it's pretty wild, like because there's scenes of like absolute darkness and all of a sudden they just like show up and things. Like the opening scene is that it's the darkness of the depths and then all of a sudden you see the fucking submarine. So I mean, I think he did such a good job with making it really feel authentic and something you've never seen before underwater. Like that was that.
They made
and like
you
said,
feel like it was underwater.
doing it without CGI is fucking insanely hard, man. So they killed it.
That opening shot is a
killed it.
14-foot sub on a soundstage with smoke in the room. That's
wild.
what that shot is. It's insane.
That's like movie making, the classic definition of movie making.
Fucking movie making, dude.
Yeah.
Special effects movie making. This fucking top of the class in this one.
Yeah,
dude, this movie's amazing. I'm surprised this is the first time I've ever seen.
I mean, if you think about it too, Aliens is just as good in its own way. Like imagine designing those sets and shooting the Queen and all that crazy shit, and then like these two movies back to back is pretty fucking hardcore, to be honest with you. That's pretty badass.
Just the fact that this show is all underwater is just so, like mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
and it's
shit. Like
and like the whole thing of it not being set way in the future or whatever. Like it's
supposed to be 1994.
This feels realistic.
That's the year 1994.
I didn't even catch that it was like not 89. I just figured
94 is the year it's supposed to take place.
Not a big leap.
All right, so keep going, I guess. Like, where are we? Talk about the Michael Biehn shit, I guess. We didn't really come on that. Like,
yeah, the space thing. Yeah, they not the space thing. The station fell. A few people died. All the while, Michael Bihn's character is going more intense with that whole underwater pressure psychosis or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, he's going crazy
HFD?
because of the pressure.
Yeah, he's going nuts. He's got the nuclear warhead, and
they busted a nuke out because there was I think when they got disconnected, he called his major or something. I don't know how they're talking to people and they're disconnected, but they were like, he's like, what do we do? It's fucking this happened. He was like, all right, we got to go to plan B. And plan B, I guess plan A was just recover the missile or recover the sub as much as you can. Plan B was get a fucking warhead off of the sub, arm it, and stand by for further instruction. Like, oh shit, shit's going down now.
And
because they thought they reported the aliens. That's what it was. They reported the aliens and they thought it was the Soviets. So they were like, that's what their assumption was.
Yeah, NTIs, the non-terrestrial intelligences.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
so he decides to essentially go after the aliens, and his boys are kind of like with him for a little while until they realize like he's fucking psychopath, and they first will lock the crew up, and I think the crew kind of talks sense into that. His boys are like, dude, he's in psychosis, he's going nuts, like, and then he takes the nuclear warhead, puts it in one of like hippies devices that's like programmed to go down to where like they think the aliens are.
Yeah, they had programmed a little remote control
where he
ROV.
knows where the aliens are, but I don't know.
I think they programmed it just to go down there and just chill, and because he wasn't gonna tether it or anything. And him and her just kind of planned to put it down there, and hopefully one of the aliens goes in front of it and gets its picture taken. So it's pre-programmed to go, and he knows that. Michael Bihn's character knows that. So his idea is, well, I'm gonna put the fucking nuke on it, because he's going crazy. He thinks it's fucking Soviets down there. He doesn't.
Yeah,
does he
going
know? Does he
after
think
him.
it's Soviets, or does
I
he just
think
want to blow up
thinks
the
the alien. I think he's
I
going
think
to
it's the
blow up the
aliens,
aliens because at one point they see the tube and then he sees the tube and he's all threatened by the tube, the water tube.
The tube.
He's all threatened by it for some reason because he
Well,
cuts
he
it off.
says
He like
he-
slams the door on it.
Yeah, and because it goes straight to the nuke, and he was like, it went straight for the nuke. He's like, it's the fucking Soviets.
But did it?
It did. It went like all.
Okay.
It snaked its way through,
I
and then
think it
went to the
looked-
end and like
that's
looked
right.
at the nuke.
As we found out, the aliens were there because we're destroying the fucking world, and they wanted
Right,
to
yeah.
probably disarm the nuke. I think he looked at it as the aliens wanted to take the nuke, and he wanted to do his fucking American duty or his human duty. So
Yeah.
Well,
they
he's
went a little
also
crazy.
he was
He was going
also
crazy.
going crazy at
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Like he took it too far. One of my favorite randomly of was really funny when the water tube was like going into the room. And like the crew's in that room, when that one dude cat wakes up, he just grabs a plant. He's just like, what
Yeah.
is?
I
So
hated that, actually.
I thought that was just a funny shot, like just a funny reaction. It just made me laugh. It was a good like comic relief moment, I think.
He was funny. He made me laugh. He made me laugh. He also kind of
So-
looked like John Reap, that comedian.
I don't know who that is. But
Google it.
furthermore,
Shout out to John.
they basically got to chase Homeboy down because he's on his way down to kill the aliens. But they are not. But that area where they're going to is only like, I don't know the numbers, so many meters away. And if the nuke goes off, their ship is fucked. So everyone's gonna die if that thing goes off and they don't stop it. But Homeboy doesn't care. What's his name in the movie? Like Boone or something?
Michael
What
Biehn?
is his name?
Michael Bihn's character?
name
Coffee.
is Coffee.
Not Bean.
John Coffee.
Coffee.
Like the coffee,
Coffee
but
Bean.
spelled different.
Yeah, Coffee. Yeah,
Coffee
Coffee
Bean.
is just,
Coffee
he's going anywhere.
Bean.
So after some fighting and shenanigans, they go after him.
There's
What's
a
her
pretty
name?
sweet underwater sub car
Yeah,
chase.
Lindsay goes down in the sub.
Yeah, that was dope.
Ed
was super
Harris
cool.
just dives. He just swims after it because he's a badass like that. There's basically like a underwater chase scene. They fight. Both subs get damaged in their own way. Coffee's sub gets damaged so bad, like it starts falling down into the trench or into the abyss, and it implodes.
Yeah,
And he dead.
like that real sub. That's what
Like,
happened to
yeah.
those real people.
That's
Just became
early
a pink
days,
mist.
yeah. And then
Jesus.
but Lindsay's sub
Name
is
my memoir.
damaged.
Pink
She's damaged
Mist.
enough where
Yeah.
Ed Harris goes to help her, but there's only one. The problem is there's only one suit that they
Yeah.
can dive with,
Yeah, that's right.
and Ed Harris is the better swimmer, and it's filling with water quickly. There's not enough time for him to go get another suit to save her.
This was dumb.
So she has a great plan of being like, well, what if I just die and you guys revive me? It'll be fine.
She's like, let me drown. It's too
Yeah.
cold.
Dramatic
I'll
scene.
survive.
Dramatic scene. They take
Stupid
her
dramatic
back.
scene. You
They
want to hear us
revive
talk
her.
about this scene?
Yeah.
Rewind it to the beginning.
Yeah, there's a big debate about it was it 90 seconds, was it 30 seconds? It was 30 seconds. And that was the main point of the argument.
The real
And
debate was
it was
about
like
her
5
taking
seconds.
forever
Oh,
to
here he
come
goes.
alive.
There you
That's
go.
what the debate was about.
No,
Jake
just-
stood
it took her a
literally in
while.
time.
30
It
seconds.
took a
was
while,
the
but
time.
he was actively bringing her back to life. It
Right,
wasn't like
he
she was
brought
just
her back.
Yeah,
laying
he was
there.
kind of just hitting her and yelling at her. And she
Have you
kinda
ever
just,
done
like, all of a
CPR? You
sudden
don't know how to do it, dude.
popped out.
Yeah,
You never done
gotta
CPR
call
before?
people,
You
gotta
gotta
call people
slap 'em.
dumb bitches.
You
He
gotta be
did
like,
CPR like
wake up,
30
you dumb
seconds prior.
bitch, and slap him.
It's like working out with people. You gotta be, give them a little extra. Come on. You
Anyway,
got
so
this.
they did CPR. They buried her, and then she came out of the grave, and she survived 2 weeks later.
Not
Go
the
on.
burial, that didn't happen.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
special.
That's what
special
Schwartz
edition.
said.
Took forever. So yeah, after that, and all the while, this nuke is still sinking down below.
The nuke's
'cause
down
the nuke
there,
got
yeah.
loose from the dude's sub, so the nuke is down
Juice is
there.
loose.
And at that time, they only Homeboy Coffee programmed it to go off in 3 hours. So time is of the essence.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
I didn't
he only
either.
had 3 hours because once Ed Harris put the suit on, there was something like, all right, we still have. I don't know.
I
what they
thought
said.
that
think
was
they
just
said
like
they still
however
had, like,
much
an hour.
time they had left to breathe.
No, I think it was the until the sub goes into the bottom.
Alright,
goes
that's
off, they
cool.
Still had an hour.
So it was about to blow up. That's even
It
better.
was about to blow up.
That's the
So
reason he went
that's
down
why
there.
he had to go down. So he had to go, and that they introduced the whole weird liquid breathing thing earlier in the movie where they almost killed a bunch of rats. And that's to help with the water pressure.
pretty
So
cool.
like your lungs are filled with water,
That real or
so they
what?
don't collapse. I believe it is a real
the
thing.
fact that we just talked. Didn't we already talk about that?
When we talked about what happened to the mouse, we didn't talk about the science of it.
And James Cameron actually
He
was
really
motivated.
did that to the mouse. So yeah, it's real. Like the
Well,
mouse really.
you're talking about is there actually like an oxygen liquid that can go in lungs to help us breathe while
Yeah.
we dive? That's a real thing. James Cameron actually got the idea from this movie by watching like Jacques Cousteau and diving documentaries. and learning about that through diving documentaries, that was actually a thing that they're trying to implement. So he wanted to use that technology, put it into a movie, and that's kind of what
And they
sprung
really
this
did it to
whole
Iraq.
thing, and that whole thing, yeah. And not Ed Harris. Ed Harris almost drowned during this part, apparently.
I don't know why
Ed
he
Harris had
didn't
to,
just fucking
actually
man
put,
up and actually
Yeah.
breathe the water like a fucking
I know,
like a good actor should.
who knows if that would have worked. Yeah, that whole thought that he's in a suit without air, in water, underwater.
Underwater, yeah.
That's wild. And
There's
just
like
him
clips.
crazy.
There's clips
falling
you see
down.
of him like underwater taking his water filled mask off, and then like a fucking a diver giving him oxygen. I mean, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how far underwater you are. You could be 4 feet underwater. That's still terrifying.
I
And
hear
I
he
guess-
refuses to answer questions about it.
Yeah, I
She
think so.
she does, the
She
actress
does.
in this movie. She won't
Yeah.
talk about being in this movie.
And I think he didn't for a while. He didn't for a little bit, like during the like promotional time. He like didn't talk to reporters. Or
He didn't
anything
have to
about
show
what
his
happened.
titties while Ed Harris was slapping on him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the titty part. I was very surprised about that.
I didn't even notice.
You didn't notice
Until,
titties?
like,
Yeah, you
I didn't
did.
notice.
I always noticed
Yeah,
it.
you
I think just
did.
because it wasn't like in a sexual
did,
way.
dude.
They were just there.
He
I just
did.
didn't really,
Hey,
like,
titties
think
are
about it.
always sexual, bro.
All right,
Newsflash.
whatever.
As soon as the
But
titty
yeah,
pops
like-
out, well, number one, I was on Mr. Skin right before this. Just kidding. Shout out to Skin.
But the way they filmed that Ed Harris scene of him like falling was like they just tilted the camera and like drugged him sideways like underwater with like
Yeah.
holding like a little. That was a dope shot of him like holding like a underwater flare or whatever that was. I don't know what you want to call it, but like they just
You're right.
drag him sideways. to make- makes it
The
look
way
like
they
he's
got
falling.
light in this movie is fucking amazing. Even like through the flares, all the different colors that had to be used anytime they lit a flare instead of a light. It kind of reminded me, and maybe just because I watched it, of The Descent. I just watched The Descent, and all the lighting in that movie is, number one, that movie is super dark, but all the
Yeah.
lighting comes from, for the most part, whatever they are doing. So it's all crazy colors and pretty like harsh lighting from flares and headlamps and shit. Really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Better than just, brightening up the space.
Well, this DP directed Hard Rain.
Oh shit.
So
He's
one
used to
other
water, dude.
movie.
There's
Always
some
because I was
sick
looking, I'm
jet
like, this guy
ski scenes in
hasn't
that movie.
done a lot of stuff for like
He
the
stopped
dope
DPing.
cinematography that he has. He kind of
He
stopped.
stopped. He became a director.
He's kind of more of a direct. He more directs television. It looks like now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
did
yeah,
a good
dude.
job for this movie.
Yeah, dragging the motherfucker in the water. It's crazy. I mean, we keep saying it, but the effects, the way they did them, the way they had to do them, the way they came out, it's just to this day top
Yeah,
notch.
pretty good.
Top notch resort, Vermont.
All right, so rank your James Cameron movies.
All right,
JC.
well, we
Abrams?
weren't quite done, but we were
Oh.
basically there. He went down into the depths, into that crazy suit. So and got down, finally found the warhead. All the while they're talking to him through his headset, and he can't talk because he's has a bunch of water in his mouth and throat
Yeah.
and lungs, and he's typing back a little early form of text messaging. And
Which
I know the crazy.
why would they have fucking characters on there that are of no use, like a semicolon that he accidentally presses? Like, why would there even be a semicolon on that keyboard for underwater like diving where your fucking fingertips are this big? And I mean, it should have like yes, no, up, down, dying, not, I'm okay. It should have very basic things on there, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm no fucking diveologist, but I sure
I
know
don't know, just to avoid run-on
unuseful
sentences.
keys when I see them. Sorry, go ahead.
Punctuation is.
You need a
important.
fucking semicolon when you're 2 miles underwater? Go ahead.
I mean, if they're showing a dramatic pause, I appreciate a semicolon.
How dramatic pause your fucking mom.
All right.
I
So yeah,
have.
they did all that. He got down to the thing, de-armed it, and
Look it down to the nitty-gritty.
He's kind of
Speaking
getting
of
like,
that scene where he's like falling down, it's like he falls for a half hour according to the movie, but it's like 5 minutes of us seeing him fall down and then like cutting back up and then seeing him fall down, and then like when he like finds the nuke, somehow he like fucking he like superhero lands on the
Yeah,
like right in front of the nuke. It's like it's like all right.
Yeah.
It's
Good
like,
God.
Saw it
Cool.
too.
it seemed
saw it
pretty
too.
haphazard until
Yeah.
the very end there, and he just lands perfectly where he was supposed to. I don't know. It's like, the holes in this plot,
right. Yeah, there's some parts, but whatever.
Right.
And,
Soviets, wrong.
yeah, and they tell him, oh, you got to cut the blue wire with the yellow stripe, not the black wire with the white stripe or whatever. but because he's got the weird light, you
you
can't really see color very well. So he's just kind of like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah, they look the same.
Goes to cut one, then he's like, maybe not. The cuts the other, and then everything's fine. And that he's also showing signs of the high pressure.
Yeah,
whatever.
he started shaking. And he was going.
he's
And
getting-
they
he's
so they
going a
think
little-
he's going crazy
losing it.
down there a little bit.
He says something about there's light everywhere because the light from the alien.
Oh, also
people.
before that, they're like, all right, you did your job, you killed the nuke. Now come on, like, how much oxygen do you have left in your fucking water? And he was like 5 minutes left, and they're like, it took him 30 minutes to get down there. And she's like, you just gotta go. Maybe your gauge is wrong. Just start your way up and come up. And maybe your gauge is wrong. Take small breaths. Like, bitch, just fucking. He's breathing water. He's gonna stay down there, Bruce Willis style. You know. They even have that shot of him laying there, like from Bruce Willis in Armageddon. This was a ripoff of Armageddon, 100%.
in reverse.
For Armageddon.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and then he's just like, you know what? It's fine.
Whoosh.
I had a one-way ticket. I'ma stay. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like this shit. It's dope down here. And that's when an alien comes and he's like, yo, I got you. Takes him by the hand. They fly through some weird alien space area, some weird alien town, and they get him into a room.
Yeah, it looked like when they went underwater in Force Awakens to the Naboo city or the Gungan city.
Yeah, that was the best part of that movie.
That was pretty rad.
I don't
And they
remember
go
that.
and meet Big Boss Nass, and he's like, "Punish him."
That wasn't Force Awakens. That was Phantom Menace.
What did I say? Force Awakens? I don't know.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Force
Phantom Menace.
Awakens. That makes more sense.
Force Awakens has an underwater scene?
No, that's why I was
Yeah.
confused by what we were talking about.
No.
He takes things so literally. This guy,
A good
Jake.
one. I mean,
I didn't know what you're saying.
he
30
just
seconds,
goes
90
by
seconds,
what
30
you
seconds
say,
all the
which
time.
is crazy, right?
I know.
Yeah,
just,
like, come on, dude.
Listening
Know
to
what we say.
listening to the actual words and thinking they mean something.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Sorry, I'm just going
Maybe you
off
should-
of
maybe you should
your
be smarter
exact
than that.
words.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's in the alien place. They're like, yeah, we kind of hate humans. They're fucking up the world because we want to take over the world.
So this is
And
this
he's
is where
going
the
on. This is
big
the special
difference is.
edition.
Yeah.
Special edition. There's footage and all sorts of war shit, and they're like, we don't like war, and they're about to kill all of humanity.
We
with
hate
tidal
violence.
waves.
We're gonna
And
kill you
he's
all.
like,
And-
you watch TV to the aliens, like you guys are just sitting down here.
That's
fucking
all
watching
he took
Fox
out of it.
News.
It's like, you guys like TV too? I like TV.
He's like, yeah, you guys should check out Fox and Friends. Actually, here, give me the remote. Give me the remote. No.
You guys
He's
ever
like
watch
fucking it
Married
up because
with
he's an old
Children?
man, doesn't know how to use a remote.
Married? No, it's hilarious. Married with
rewinding
Children's
it somehow.
hilarious.
He's on the menu. It's like,
Yeah,
you're on the
he's a-
TV
should
menu,
watch-
Dad.
He's a shoe salesman, and he's got kids, and his wife is hilarious. Peggy,
They should watch
Yeah.
Alf.
you guys will love Alf.
I don't even remember Alf.
Alf's about an alien that hides out with a family in suburbia.
Ralph is Alf. I almost need to watch that again because I don't.
Alf is pretty great.
Other than what it's about, that's all I remember.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Like, I know he's an alien.
How,
I know
how
what
was
he
that a
looks like.
show?
No idea
Like,
what it.
how-
I don't
how
remember
long-
anything about it.
It was probably on for like 8 seasons and like had like 129 episodes because that's how fucking shows ran.
When I
back
think
then.
of Alf, I think of fucking Mrs. Doubtfire in the very end when she has her own show and she's got that little puppet. And that's not even Alf. That's like a different thing. That's like a fucking. It's like a different. It's like a teddy bear or something. But that's when I'm like, oh yeah, Alf, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right. So yeah, they think Ed Harris died. He didn't. He's all like, he texts them back like, yo, just kidding. And then they're like, all right, well, the storm stopped. And then he's just like, hey, everybody, get a load of this shit. And then that's when the alien ship rises
Hold
up.
on to your pantyhose.
Yeah, that's right. That was the word for word. It rises up.
It's big,
Everyone
which is cool.
basically gets out, and then Ed Harris walks out of the alien ship. He's like, "What up?" And then Lindsay runs over and gives him a kiss, and then credits roll, and that's the
Yeah,
end.
in coming up, it brings up the other ship
Credits.
too, so it brings up
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah,
credits. it
Yeah,
it raises the
both
bar
ships,
like
yeah.
like James Cameron does.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I mean, I thought like the size, like just the sheer size of the thing. I think it was like in like the special edition subtitles, it said it was supposed to be like 3 miles long. Like that's how big the alien ship was. Had like all the battleships sitting on top of it and the oil rig sitting on top of it. It's pretty cool. Which means the nuke was there somewhere, right? Probably brushed that off.
Well, he disarmed it, but yeah, it had to have been
Still a
in there
nuke, dude.
somewhere.
Nuke's a nuke.
Yeah, right.
What if you trip over it and rearm it?
Yeah.
How did he
that far
disarm
down?
it? He just clipped a wire.
He
What if
clipped
in the water those wires go?
That's
good?
how bomb scenes work in the 90s.
It's like
you clip
getting
a
it's like
wire.
getting your fucking
Disarm.
testes clipped and then they come back together. That happens, dude.
I'm surprised there wasn't like that countdown clock on the nuke, like
Yeah.
oh my god, it's only 10 more seconds left. It
Yeah,
wasn't-
that's what
wasn't
Michael Bay
too-
thought. He was like, we got to
Yeah.
we got to put a countdown clock on the nuke.
yeah, probably
Yeah,
countdown clock
Armageddon.
on the
And then
nuke
he's like,
in the comic
all right,
book, yeah.
so this is where the
Those-
aliens come, and he was like, nah, no aliens in Armageddon. He just dies
Those-
on the moon.
Those shots of the clock too, they come from like halfway across the room and do like 360s into the clock counting down. Shit, that's how they go.
Oh yeah,
In Armageddon. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
into the
he's like
clock.
sitting on the nuke doing this.
yeah, do the Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
God, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I don't remember much of that.
Which one?
Armageddon?
Armageddon or
Yeah.
It was Steve Buscemi doing that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember that shit. I think I
You
saw
don't
it
remember
once.
Armageddon, dude?
I think I saw it once in theaters when it came out. I don't think I ever saw
What?
it again.
Jake,
Armageddon
I haven't
is-
seen
you
it since
have
probably
gotta
what,
watch that movie.
1994.
Did we do
Aerosmith.
Michael Bay yet?
I don't know. I don't think we've done a Michael Bay.
Should we do Armageddon?
Well,
Have we
let's
done a Michael
review
Bay?
Michael Bay
God.
movies before we just choose Armageddon.
Yeah, let's just not just jump to Armageddon right
Oh,
now. but-
Armageddon's one of his best.
Hey,
I
Well,
agree,
The
but
Rock.
we should choose before. Oh,
All right.
We've all seen the
Well,
Rock.
we all know The Rock super well.
I
We're
mean,
just
I
gonna be
would put
jerking off.
Armageddon with
We're gonna be
Ja-
jerking off. to The Rock
Armageddon
for
is
an
just
hour
as
and a
good as The
half.
Rock in its own ways. I'm not even gonna. You can think whatever you want, but it's. Just
I think Armageddon would be a more divisive movie between all of us. And I think it would be cause for
Yeah,
better
It's hilarious.
conversation than
It's
The
a great
Rock, because
movie.
The Rock, we're all just gonna agree that it's the best thing ever. And
Well, I've been
That-
wanting to do
that'll be the
13
day.
hours. That would have wasted it. I mean, not wasted it, but that would have taken
Oh, yeah.
away.
Yeah, that
The
movie's
Bay.
cool. That movie's
yeah, I
cool.
gotta go-
We
'cause I
we haven't
barely
done a
remember
modern
Armageddon.
day war movie. I'm just looking for those, and that's a good one.
Sure.
But yeah, let's guess we could
So
start
that's
wrapping
it.
this up. We talked
Did
about the
we-
movie. You wanted to rank your rank your
Cameron.
rank your
Cameron.
Camerons.
Rank Camerons. Should we do that as a draft? Or should we just do it on here? Or should we do both?
I don't
do
think
both.
we
Well,
there's enough. There's not
Camerons
enough
for
for
a
a draft.
draft.
Let's
Yeah,
just
there's
let's
not
just do like our top.
He doesn't have enough
fives.
movies for a draft.
He's
He
only
has
got
like
eight
he has like
movies.
eight features, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So let's do our top. Let's do our
Fuck,
top
dude.
fives.
All right, I know mine.
Go.
All right, I'm going from 5. I'm going 5. Actually, I'm gonna go from 1 just because it's easy for me. I'm gonna go 1 True Lies, 2 Aliens, 3 T2, 4 The Abyss, 5 Titanic.
I
Man,
think I got.
that's
I think I
hard,
got it.
dude.
It's hard. It's tough with some of the middle shit. But I
This
think
is
I got
hard.
It. I
Go
think
ahead.
obviously one is Terminator 2.
Not obvious, but yeah.
Well, you're just a big dummy who thinks
No,
30
you're
is
just a
90
lover
and the
of
same
Terminator
thing.
2.
Dummy.
It's probably the best movie ever made. Terminator 2 is his best thing.
Jake lost his
obviously.
virginity to an Austrian bodybuilder. So.
Nice.
I think probably Aliens number 2.
His name was Arnold.
Oh, good one, Schwartz.
That's funny.
3.
That's why he loves it.
I almost want to say this, but I want to go Titanic 3, and then probably Abyss 4, and then 5. Actually, no. Regular Terminator really good too. First Terminator. Yeah, Terminator 2, Aliens, Abyss, Titanic, Terminator. Those are my 5. That's my
True
top
Lies
5.
isn't even up there.
Nah.
That's a dum dum.
I'm just not a. It's just it's fun.
a
It's
fucking
good, but
dumbo.
it just doesn't do anything for me that the other movies did.
Arnie doesn't touch him in that one.
It doesn't.
Go ahead, Anthony.
All right, I'm gonna go. Shit, where'd they go?
Tough.
I
That's a
gotta go
tough one. That's a
T2.
tough Gotta rank. Sorry. Go.
T2 as number 1.
Of course.
I gotta go True Lies as number 2. I gotta go, rewatching Terminator 1. I gotta go number 3, Terminator 1. Let's go Abyss. Which one didn't I
You
say?
haven't said
yet?
Aliens yet.
That's it, Aliens.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like
Aliens.
I almost part of me almost wants to rank Abyss higher, but it's part of that. I think it's like a recency bias because I really liked.
That's
this
what
movie.
made it, Terminator. I don't know how high I would have ranked Terminator had I not just watched it and realized
Yeah.
how good of a fucking movie T1 is. Because when I watch Terminator, I'm usually watching T2. I'm never just
Mhm.
popping on T1 watching it from beginning to end. Boy, that's a
Great.
good movie.
It's good for sure. And that's why I was like, hard.
Especially-
I'm like, should I rank Terminator higher? I felt like I should rank Terminator higher. It's my rank.
Knowing-
Yeah, he's so hard to rank.
Knowing
you
that
rank the
T2 is coming up makes T1 even better.
Yeah. What do I
do you rank
rank
the
this
film?
movie?
It's high for me. It's one of
It's
my
high.
highest, to be honest.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
I'd probably give it like an 8.9.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
It's very high. Yeah.
8.85.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so basically
Okay.
8.9 for me.
I'm gonna go 8.1.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. And I definitely see like the occasional flaws in the plot, but overall, this movie was very fun. It
But-
kept my attention. Like
I thought
technically, such an achievement. It's crazy
the amount
how they made this
of
movie.
the amount of things going on plot wise,
Yeah.
but it never got confusing. It
No.
never got obscure. It was so contained. I keep saying so much going on, but so contained. That's what and that's what made it so interesting. I loved it.
Yeah. And I love
And
Aliens.
it was original. You don't see a movie set in this situation. You don't see
No.
like
Certainly for
the whole-
86 they came out. 89.
Yeah.
I mean,
89,
fuck.
yeah.
There
It's
were
just
there were
a-
underwater movies, but when this came out, I can't imagine. I wish I was alive in 89 and more than a year old so I could go to the movies. I would have watched it. It would have been me.
Yeah, I was 17. I remember seeing this in theaters.
I remember.
You and Joel.
I was like,
Jason was fuck, dude.
yeah, me and Joel were teenagers when we saw this movie together. in theaters.
Joel's like, this is way better than The Great Dictator. Huh?
Back in my.
All right.